Okay, we're all set,
Awesome.
Kim.
Good stuff. Thank you. So welcome everyone to our special gathering tonight. We're so happy to be together, especially given what's going on in our country and in our world. This is like a big party that we all get to be together, even though we can't physically be together. So that's a really great thing. And I'm so excited to bring, I know some of you are very familiar with Ray. So maybe in the chat group, you can give a shout out if you're a rank maker. So he can know who's part of the community or part of already learning from him. But I was, when Lisa and I, we have been working very closely with Ray since about October in his Top Earner Club training. And when he heard that our conference was canceled, he immediately said, "What can I do for your teams?" And I thought, well, if we could get you in front of our team, that would be huge. It's always a great, I always use the word shot in the arm, right? It's always that great just a training and encouragement and guidance. And I thought, why would I want to keep that to myself? So I'm really excited that we have over 10 NMD teams gathered tonight. I'm so glad that I increased my Zoom because Ray probably wouldn't have been able to get on if I didn't. So I'm glad that woke me up in the middle of the night. But I thought what I'd start off with is just giving you a little bit of my kind of how I got connected to Ray and just give you a little bit of background. And then Ray, what I thought we would do is maybe kind of go back and forth a little Oprah style. I've got a list of questions that some of the team has kind of brought in and just to kind of help us navigate this new climate that we're in.
Sure.
So when I moved down to North Carolina about 4.5 years ago, I had been following some other trainers and just kind of immersing myself and always doing personal development. And at a networking group, someone was like, well, if you like this person, you're going to really love Ray and you should check him out. So I started off with just kind of following him through an email list. I got on his email list. And then I found out that there was a way that I could actually get a daily dose of Ray in a group that's called Rank Makers, where there's daily trainings that come in. And I just was like, this is exactly what I need. Just even though I've been in the business for 10 years, it's really good to get guidance and just keep working at it and keep getting better. And so did that for a couple of years. Ray did an event called Rank Makers Live that he does every fall. And it was really funny because Lisa, myself, and Tracy, we were like, oh, we've got conference 2 weeks later. We're really going to go to this thing in Florida. And, like, what are we doing? And we're like, we're not going to go. Like, we're just going to focus on conference. And then in a matter of 15 minutes, not only did we go, but we upgraded to super VIP. So it was like, we're like, we're going to go. And we just, it was a whole new level of helping us make more impact and just be better leaders and create better culture. And so what I wanted to share with you is, so that's when we started working directly with Ray, Lisa, and I, and just, so honored, Ray, that you're, again, as soon as you heard that our company was having, this hiccup, that
Sure.
you immediately said, let me come and pour into your team. And I want to share something with a lot of you because you know that a lot of you that know me, you know that my husband Allard is super supportive, and also being super supportive means he gets to hear my world every single day about what's going on and the ups and the downs. And I said to him, since I've worked with Ray, what have you noticed? And he said 2 things. This is tonight at dinner, and he said 2 things. He said that one, I'm noticing that you're enjoying your business more. And I thought that's really cool because I'm loving my business again. And I'm not to say I wasn't before, but you have your ups and downs, and I got to a place where I love it again. And he goes, and the second thing I've noticed is you don't let the little things bother you anymore. And I was like, it's so true, right? So so we're going to talk a little bit about that before, but Ray, what I'd love for you to start off with is that, we did have this bump in the road with conference being canceled. And I think for a lot of us, conference is a time to gather. It's a time to get that, like I said, that shot in the arm, the connection, the community, all those things. And what I've noticed, just in talking to other leaders, other people on my team, is I feel like the people that have been in the business maybe a little bit longer have a little bit of a more stronger posture and belief to sort of still go out there and share confidently. But those that are maybe a little newer in the business are feeling like, all right, are we capitalizing on something by being out there and sharing? Are we, people are without jobs, should we be sharing the opportunity? And I know for conference, for me, and why I never miss a conference is because it helped me build my beliefs and my posture.
Sure.
So what advice could you give to all of us on the line of how to navigate what we're going through right now, whether you're a week old in the business or whether you're 15 years in the business?
Yeah, and
Thanks for having me. Appreciate all the bunch of rank makers on. That's awesome. I know not everyone, but appreciate the shout outs. So what you want to be aware of, and I did do a live on roughly this topic a few days ago, but what you want to be aware of is that there are some people out there right now that are really questioning how they've built their career, how they've been making money, and like a phrase that I've been talking to our kind of corporate team with. We have a few people that help us and work with us. I think around maybe 20 now, but is if you've been living check to check, isn't it time for more? And there is, I think, more, arguably more than ever before. So I grew, just to step back a second, better answer this question. So I lost it all when the real estate market crashed. So in 2009, I'm dead broke, personal foreclosure, $1 million in debt. I'd gone through a divorce, had gotten engaged, disengaged. So it was a very turbulent time. And at one point living on my buddy's couch, and it was a tough time. And what I saw then versus something like now, it's very interesting, because there's a lot of people that lost all their money in real estate in 2008, 2009, and I was one of them. From that, I got serious about network marketing. Long story short, became the number one income earner in that company, and got to see I was recruiting a lot of small business owners, real estate related people, and professionals. Okay. That was kind of my niche. Like I recruited a lot of restaurant owners, a lot of business owners, a lot of more business related kind of people. And, but what you're seeing now is very different, in that I don't believe back then, and I know there's exceptions, but I don't believe back then there were, as many normal folk that were as heavily impacted as right now. Like right now, you have waiters, waitresses, no jobs. You got bartenders, no jobs. Well, guess what? They had jobs back then. They may get a little bit less tips, but whatever. But believe me, people were buying alcohol no matter what. And so now you have teachers impacted. You have all parents impacted. I actually think there's more, at least for this short duration of time. At least we hope it's short. And I think most people believe it'll be like if you look at the other countries, and probably a 2-week, kind of deal. There'll be further impact, but as far as hardcore quarantine, probably 2 weeks is what most people are saying. And it could be longer, it could be whatever. I'm not predicting anything, but if you look at the patterns, that's what people are, specialists are saying. But I don't think even with the real estate crash, which, I became number one earner in that company in 2010, like the year-ish, 2 year after the biggest, crash. And so I really think and know actually that there's a lot of people looking for something different right now. They're like, well, dang, what am I going to do? Go back to be susceptible to what if something like this happens again? And they're seeing people that, I think before maybe had this, like, I don't want to start a home-based business, to, dang, maybe I should start a home-based business. And so I'm not saying to choke people out with trying to get them on the home-based business or call them idiots or, anything extreme like that, but to not offer solutions is, I wouldn't sleep easy at night if I wasn't at least offering solutions. And so, we've been very actively putting value into the marketplace via, Facebook Lives mainly of, here's good news about the coronavirus. Here's, today I interviewed 3 moms, a mom of 5 and 2 other moms of 2, and what they did in an hour a day to build their network marketing business right now with kids, everywhere and all that. And so right now, I believe, is a very large awakening. I think there's a lot of people that are more open to having a home-based business than ever before. And it just so interestingly happens that there's also more interest in your immune system than ever before. I mean, immune system, 3 weeks ago, yawn. Like I mean, let's face it, what, 5%, maybe 10% of the population was even thinking about immune system. Now everybody is. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm loading up on my vitamin C. I'm getting my fruits and veggies. I'm whatever. So you guys are poised in a really interesting way with being out, just uh, proven a proven amazing company that's been around the block that really helps people with having a home-based business and helping their immune system. And so now is the time that I would really be getting the word out, but getting it out in a very specific way. And it doesn't mean choking people out. It doesn't mean blasting and spamming your product and any of that kind of thing. But if you look at how we already trained, it's always not how do I close everyone, but how do I see who's open? How do I just see who's open? And that, if you just adopt that, if this is the only thing you take from tonight, if you just adopt the concept of I'm going to see who's open versus try to close everyone or let me keep my mouth shut. And so those that keep their mouth shut, I'll tell you what that means. You may not want to hear it. You may not want to hear it. Kim and Lisa know I don't pull punches, do I?
You do not.
I hope you don't share my boxers where I'm mean to you guys, but
You've only made me cry twice. It's all totally
oh, come on. Yeah, dang. And so so if you're keeping your mouth shut, if you're not telling, I don't want to be a poacher, I don't want to be a shark, I don't want to be it means you care more about what people think of you than possibly helping them. That's what it means. What else could it mean? That is what it means. And and if you acknowledge that and you're like, oh, yeah, then okay, own it, right? And so because you keeping your mouth shut about something that could help their immune system and could help their finances ain't helping them. Will never help them. But if you're so worried that they look at you negatively, and if you adopt I'm just seeing if you're open. So I've had people where I said, during the real estate, I can talk directly to this. So 2009, everyone I know, everyone has lost like everything. I mean, it was like the foreclosure club. Hey guys, my name is Ray, and I'm in foreclosure too. Thanks for sharing, Ray. Right? And so like it was the foreclosure club. Like, we were all knocked out. And I had people during that time that I would say, hey, I don't know if you're open to it or not, but I'm doing this home-based business, make some extra money, trying to get back on my feet. If you're open, take a look at it, great. If not, no worries. And they'd say, dude, you're trying to pitch to people and we've lost everything here, man. Man, what's up with that? And I say, hey, listen, hey, I got it. Totally cool. Not a fit for you. There are people looking for actual solutions, and that's who I'm speaking to. And if that's not you, I apologize. I wish you the very best. See, you can't make it to the people that are looking to help their kids, help their family, help their lives. You can't make it to them if you're so worried about running into the haters, if you're so worried about running into the people that are going to chastise you or be skeptical or cynical or critical. And so you can't make it to the people like on their hands and knees. I guarantee you, there are waiters and waitresses, there are bartenders, there are teachers, there are people that work at sporting events, there are people that work at concession stands, there are people in hotels, there are, I don't know, what's the PC word now, flight attendants, I think, right? So there's flight attendants, there's people involved in travel and hotel and travel that are on their hands and knees at night praying for a solution, praying for things. I just hope things get better, whereas they could actually take matters into their own hand if they had a solution. And see, if you're on this line, you have a solution. What you do with it is up to you, right? You may or may not exercise the solution, but I want you to understand, a lot of people don't have a solution. What is the solution? They can't get another job at another school. They can't get another job on a different airline. They can't get another job at a different hotel or a resort. They have no solution. They only have problems. You have solutions. You have a solution that can be worked as much as you want from home without having to go out during a quarantine, non-quarantine, whatever. And so you have that solution. It's up to you. Are you going to open your mouth and talk about it and risk them hating on you? Or and if that's too risky for you, then you just won't help anyone. And I'm just a very big believer of, if someone argues with me at all, Like, so if I say, hey, would you be able to take a look at, what I'm doing and make some extra money or boost my immune system or whatever, if they hit me with any kind of, you know, oh, you're trying to profit from, hey, totally cool. Not a fit for you. I got it. I wish the very best. Sending you love. Sending you love and energy. Right? That's it. I'm not trying to say, no, I'm not arguing with them, because that's not the person that's going to succeed in this kind of business anyway. And I'm not going to make them wrong. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm just looking for people that are looking for solutions. And I totally get it. Not for you.
Awesome.
Does that help with
Oh,
what
super helpful.
I
Super
tend to
helpful. Yeah.
go a
No,
little
so
crazy
no,
sometimes.
it's so good. And I wrote down sort of three of my probably biggest things I've grown from since I've worked with you. And one of these segues right off this, and it was our Voxer chat from 2 days ago. And I'm still processing it. Because you said in terms of whether or not we share it or not, that is our own doing, right? That's whether it's our own belief in ourselves of what people are going to think of us.
Mhm.
So I'm going to share with all of you. I know for me, I really want to take my business to a whole new level, and so I'm doing other things. Right? I have to change things. I can't keep doing the same thing over and over because I'll keep getting the same results, right? So I've been doing some more marketing, and I've been doing some more lives, which is totally outside of my comfort zone for a lot of different reasons. And I'm digging deep because I think, honestly, deep down, I'm worried about what people are thinking about me, and do I have value, and do I have something to say? So I'm working through those voices. But I brought this up to Ray, and because I've been doing this for 10 years and prospecting, I'm good at it and I can power through it, but I'd like things to shift a little bit, right? I'd like to have people reaching out to me as well as going out and doing my prospecting. So what he said to me, which was an aha moment, and this is going to focus or kind of go into our next question. He was just like, you have to either be okay with not, with doing the prospecting and get okay with that, or the pain needs to be big enough and great enough to go out and do the live a day and start generating leads. And it was like, okay, like I have a choice. Like, this is my choice of whether or not I'm going to get out of my comfort zone or not. So my question, my thing that I'd like you to address, because I think that anyone can relate to this at all levels, and I think you've used this term with both of us often, is stop checking your gauges and focus on the activity. So whatever that activity is for people, right? So not to be checking our back office constantly of what, so if you want to, is that question clear?
Totally.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge one, because most, there's a lot of ways I've seen this described. If, I try to watch it like maybe once a year. I don't always accomplish that, but I dig the movie The Secret. I think it's great. And I'm not a big, I'm not, some people lump law of attraction and The Secret in with just meditating and not taking action, but they say take action through the whole movie. So, but there's a part in it where James Arthur Ray, he's talking about you're doing something, and the thing is coming to you, but you haven't seen any progress yet. And so you say, this isn't working, and then it shrinks back down. And that happens all the time. I just know it. So when I started doing videos, so I've been doing at least one video a day since July 15th of 2009. And I know that that's probably hard to relate to, but over 10 years, I've been doing at least one video a day. And the reason that I wanted to start doing a video a day is I just hated prospecting, hated it. I can do it. I'm pretty good at it. I just didn't like it. And so instead of just saying, oh man, I hate this stuff, well, whatever, I got to keep doing it. I'm like, well, what would be the alternative? Like, what would be cooler than me reaching out to people and asking them? Everybody, well, them reaching out to me, that would be really cool. And so I knew that doing more videos was going to work. Now, my first certainly 5 months of videos, I didn't generate a lead. Now, to put that into perspective, because sometimes, we run like 14-day challenges and video challenges and things like that. And I'll have people on day 9 or let's be honest, day 5, that they're like, I'm not generating any leads. What the hell's going on? I don't know about this thing. And I just want to point out, I was like 150 videos in. I was doing a video every day for 5 months and hadn't generated hardly any leads, if any. I know by month 6, I had generated some leads, but first 5 months, I had generated leads. So 150 videos, one a day for 150 days, no leads. Now, at that point, you're kind of like, there's something wrong with you if you continue going. But I'm just like an automaton droid, just I'm going to keep doing it. And I will tell you, there is a difference between how I did it back in 2009 versus how it is now. It was, I admit it, easier to not check your gauges back then. So because we didn't have live video. So now live video is way more effective, like like light years more effective than how I used to do it. I used to do it, I had a little flip cam and I would, do my video, plug it into the computer, upload it to YouTube, hope for the best. I hope someone sees it today. And so it was out of sight, out of mind. I would upload and not look. I would not look at the views. I did not look at even the comments, because I remember one day I got on there and that's logistically not smart. You should look at the comments and reply to them. But I remember I got on there one day and I had a few nasty comments I didn't like. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna look at those anymore. And so, but now you hitting one button and going live, it's just way easier. But it's hard not to check your gauges as far as how many viewers you have on, because you see them, right? You know, where they are, if there's 2 or 3 or whatever. And so that is one example, but I just didn't check my gauges. And I remember my first month in that company, it was all, I wasn't generating any cold market at all. I was just working my warm market. And so I'm made a big list, I'm working down. I was coming out of a pretty deep depression, because the only thing worse than being broke is having made a lot of money then be broke. Like, it's way worse. If you're used to ramen noodles, then fine, no big deal, another night of ramen. But if you're used to filet then ramen, it's kind of painful. And so I was depressed. Literally every person on my list, I couldn't help it. I tried not to. I tried to meditate and law of attraction it. But every person, I would look at their name and I'm like, they're going to say no. But I would pick up the phone anyway. I'm just like, hey, how's it going? And a lot of them did say no. And so, but I just didn't check the gauges. And that first month, I'm just making phone calls. And if someone's open, great. Here, let me get this video to you. Okay, what'd you like best about it? Great. Okay, let's get you on board. And so I get a call probably 2.5 weeks in, and a guy says, hey, is this Ray? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, hey, this is Chris. He said his name. And I'm like, hey, like, I don't know who this is. And it turns out he's one of the owners of the company that I was working with. And he said, dude, you won the trip. And I'm like, trip? I'm like, what? I didn't even know there was a trip. I didn't know there was a contest. My head was so down that I didn't know of a contest. I didn't know owner's name. I didn't know. There was a lot I didn't know, but I was in action. I was in psychotic, lunatic-like action of just reaching out. And I actually created a psychological trigger, which I recommend, because it's almost like replacement therapy. Is anytime I got depressed, anytime I thought about how bad my life sucked and how many bills were stacked up in the corner, I had to pick up the phone. So many times I would feel that muscle twinge, and unfortunately back then right before this I was drinking very, very heavily, and so I would feel that twinge to like get in my depressed mode and be sad face, and I would feel that twinge and I would just pick up my phone and I'd go pa, and it'd be like the dry cleaner. I'm like, hey, I used to bring my clothes in there. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I got this thing, and it wouldn't interrupt what you're doing. Are you looking to make some extra money? And so like that's what I did, man. But I just didn't check my gauges. Now, there comes a point where you can. There comes a fulfillment problem. So I remember how I used to operate is I would set these goals, and so when you're when you're on the struggle bus or frustration, then definitely don't check those gauges. Keep going, man. You got a bad day, hit a bigger number the next day, and just keep going. if you keep doing this, you will start getting new results. And the trick there is to allow those new results and to appreciate them, because I wasn't doing that. I'll be honest. So I remember I had my first $1 million year, and I hit that $1 million, and I remember it, man. It was like, who was it? I think Jess, maybe. She's like, hey, we like just passed $1 million, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Right back to work. Like, it literally was like a 4-second thing. And it reminds me, I saw an interview, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. But I saw an interview of Kobe Bryant, and actually it wasn't an interview, but it was right after they won the championship. Everyone's like kissing the trophy and like, yay, and ticker tapes and all this stuff, right? And they go to Kobe, man, how you feel? And he goes, I'm just excited for next year. But you can't even be grateful on the court right there. That was me. And so I went from, goal to goal to goal to goal to goal, because I obliterated the even concept of checking my gauges. Like even checking just for gratitude. Now, let's be honest. Most people check their gauges to create disappointment. That's the only reason. Okay, let me look. Yeah, still sucks. Hey, yeah, right. So most people don't have the problem I'm describing, of that they're just such a lunatic that they hit these goals and don't appreciate them, which is what I suffered from. Maybe, I know, right? Real hard, cry me a river, right? But that is a problem, because if you don't feel fulfillment as you hit your goals, if you don't feel fulfillment or joy or happiness or excitement, then the universe doesn't know what do you want? What do you want? And so I know people that they'll be doing videos and they'll generate their first lead, and they'll say, hey, I generated my first lead. And I'll say, hey, way to go. Awesome. They're like, well, I've been at it for a really long time. And, it was only one lead. And it's just like, okay, how can we be disappointed today? That's the talk show you're on, right? How do I create disappointment even though I just got a win? And that's how most people operate. Most people are like, well, I got my first customer. Oh, great. Well, I've been really trying for a really long time. And, by now there's a lot of people who have more customers. It's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to create disappointment out of thin air, even when you do have a win. Celebrate that win, feel good about it. And then, I believe universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is saying, we brought them greatness. They accepted and allowed it. They're happy. It's just confusion when you're upset when you do get a win. And so, don't check the gauges is very, very good advice, because quitting isn't going to speed anything up for you. What's it going to do for you? So you checking the gauges and say, still not there, still sucks. That doesn't help you. It doesn't help your energy. It doesn't help you attract people around you. It doesn't have you show up bigger. And so just keep going and just celebrate your wins. That would be my 2 pieces of advice there.
I love that. Good. Yeah. And one thing that I've been doing since I've been working with you is that to keep me focused on activity, I have my little sheet here of like what I'm doing each month, and it's how many people I'm talking to each day, each week. Like, how many lives have I done? How many team blitz have we doing? Like, I have all these action steps, and every time that I've hit this, since I've worked with you, I've had double-digit customer growth, and I'm recruiting every single month frontline. So, awesome. And that's because I'm not checking my gauges. And for me, the gauges was the team. And so I wanna bring this up to you, because I think, and if this goes to the first question, and then I just have 2 other short questions, so hopefully we can fit them in. But I think one of the this was one of the boxes. I was like, oh crap, I've been doing this for years. I think definitely in a climate like now, we just want to connect with people and we want the best for our teams. And so I used to say like, hey, checking in, how's it going? And you're like, Kim, you're pretty much that. And for me, it always came from a place in my heart, because I wanted to help people. I wanted to be there for them. And you're like, it's kind of like you're saying, hey, you doing anything? Like, so translate that for everyone. Because I think that, again, for me, when I'm focused, and then I put this in the chat group, anytime that I get frustrated or disappointed or whatever the emotion is, I have you in my ear saying, Kim, go talk to 5 people. And it's almost like talking to 5 people will squash that in a heartbeat. Yeah. Doing something productive. But I love what you shared with me about the checking in.
Yeah. And it's a good point. It's, that replacement or distraction therapy or whatever. It's, although, women are scientifically better at multitasking, it's still hard to stay focused on one thing. It's actually the corpus callosum. Like in a guy, it's the size of a pinky, and a woman, it's the size of like your wrist. And so like you scientifically can multitask better than men. But you being in activity does take away some of that distraction of being, sad or bummed out or whatever. So the number one thing I get in one form or another from leaders, the number one question is, how do I get my people to do more? Right? How do I get them to do more? How do I get them? I really want them to succeed. How do I get them to want to succeed? And it's interesting because if you understand good culture, culture is making people feel good regardless of their level of desire or level of result. And it is not intensity that intensity works internally, right? You can be intense on yourself. So if you want to, hey, I'm going to really double my numbers today or whatever, fine. Be intense on yourself. Being intense on teammates is not only is it not usually helpful, it's actually usually harmful. And because if you are if you really want it more than they want it, then instead of most people being inspired and saying, oh my God, you're right, I really do want, they feel like a disappointment. Most people in the world, they show up to, how do I not win? How am I a disappointment? How do I not? And this, usually stems from different things in childhood, but they're seeking, how am I disappointing someone right now? And this can, stems into mom guilt. It stems into, disappointment of, fathers, mothers, et cetera. And so you want to be aware and do your very best to not generate that, to not generate that disappointment muscle that people are unfortunately dying to flex. They're looking for, opportunities to flex it. So when you reach out to someone, you say, and you're a leader, right? When you're a leader, know that whether you know it or not, you are looked up to. Now, doesn't mean that everyone does, doesn't mean that everyone respects you or everyone appreciates you or everyone, is inspired by you, but a lot of them are. So when you reach out to them and say, hey, just checking on you, seeing how you're doing, it is translate that am I a disappointment muscle flexes. And how it's translated, you're saying, hey, just checking on you, how you doing. How it's translated is, when are you going to do something? When are you going to step it up? Hey, are you going to build this business or not? And so that's how it's translated. So you are just, in your mind, doing a good thing as a leader. I'm communicating with them. I'm seeing how they're doing. That's not how it's translated, because you're not buddies. There's an authorityship there. There's a, that's if the, pastor or the priest or whatever comes over to you and, or purposely calls you and says, how you're doing. You're like, oh man, did I do something wrong? Like, ooh, right? You might be a little nervous. I don't know. And so it's better to actually have some kind of reason other than one that they can translate themselves. See, we are meaning-making machines. We create meaning out of anything. So what does that mean? Her reaching out to me, asking seeing how I'm doing. That must mean that she wants me to be doing more. I'm not doing enough. I'm a big fat disappointment, just like I was to my father, right? That's how it's translated. You think it's not, but it is. And so instead, you want to be able to do a better job of setting the intention. And so a better reach out would be, hey, hope you're doing well. Haven't chatted in a while. Hey, listen, I just want to make you aware we have a contest going on, and I just want to make you aware. If you want to run with it, awesome. If not, totally cool. But I just want to do my job. Just make sure you're aware of it. So that gets translated as, oh, and you got to make sure, hey, it's totally okay if you don't want to do it, right? You have to say that. But that gets translated, oh, just an awareness campaign. Just let me know about this thing. And if they have something to tell you, they'll bring it up, or they may ask you some questions and you can gauge their interest. And so I would just always have some kind of other thing, whether it's a contest. Hey, I wanted to let you know we just rolled out Blueberry, and I don't know if you saw it or not. And, if you'd like to try it, awesome, great. If not, no worries. But I want to make sure you're aware because a lot of people are excited about it. And so it's some kind of third party, not third party, but some kind of not them. I'm not checking on them. I'm not seeing, hey, when you finally going to get in shape, when you're going to finally start ordering more or buying or selling more or whatever. I want to use some kind of thing that I can point to that they view it as an awareness campaign.
Awesome. Good. Do you have time
Event,
for
you got
one
an
more?
event coming up, like let them know, hey, I want to make sure you know about this
Yeah.
training coming up. And, if you want to be on it, awesome. If not, totally cool. We love you, you know.
Perfect. Do you have time for one more question?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Because this one I think is going to really speak to everyone at every single level, and I'm going to give some examples of how I've done it on day one to even doing it 10 years in until I started working with you. And that's and I'm just going to give a couple of examples and then share my aha moment that you gave me. So I'll say, you do your first wellness presentation and 7 people RSVP that they're coming and 3 show up. And so what do we do? Oh, I can't believe 4 canceled on us. I can't believe we had 4 no-shows,
Yeah.
right? And then we have, we'll take it to the next level. Maybe you start growing a little bit of team and now you have, 2 or 3 teammates and they said they were going to get on the team call and 1 got on and the 2 didn't. And what do we do? I'll say what I do. I would be like, oh man, like what happened to the 2 that didn't get on? And right, you can escalate that and compound that to
Yeah.
anything in our business, right? I prospected 20 people. Oh, I only heard back from 2, those darn 18 people that are ignoring me, like instead of focusing on the 2 that got back to you. So one thing that I won't quote you because there was a little bleep in there. That was a good one. I'm telling you, it was a good one. It was love the boom out of who's showing up. So it's just love the people that are showing up. And that was a huge aha for me. I think that was probably, and you and I discussed that early on in working. So it was probably 4 months ago. I think that was literally the switch that made me love my business again.
Wow.
Because I wasn't
That's
focused
awesome.
on, for me, and it wasn't, and here's the thing, I don't know if it was a book I read or maybe you said it, I don't know if somebody else said it, but it was like when you hold the mirror up, like why was that a trigger for me? And the trigger was I was always brought up to do the right thing and to, if I said I was going to be somewhere, I was there regardless if I really wanted to be there or not. So like for me, when people weren't showing up, it was like holding this mirror in front of like me of like, how could they ever do that? Because I would not so if you can speak into that a little bit about just really loving what we have and being grateful for who is showing up, who did call you back, the activity that you're doing, whatever it is.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, most people don't, I don't think most people don't get the opportunity to learn that lesson the way that I did. And although it was painful and embarrassing when I learned it, I'm very grateful for it because it stuck with me. So back in probably 2005, maybe, I was running real estate events in Southwest Florida. And so I ran this event and we had I don't even remember who it was. I think it was I don't know. We had a government official speak at this real estate event, and we typically got at least 100, sometimes 200 people to these events. And so this one night, government official, we thought it would be decent. There were like 6 people in the crowd. And so, expecting at least this much, maybe this much, at least this much, and this much, right? And so I clearly wore that. I was a few years younger back then, hadn't learned as many lessons as I have now. And so as the host and the speaker for that event, it was very obvious that I was disappointed. Now I don't know exactly what I said, probably nothing, great. But afterwards, this lady comes up to me and says, after the meeting, she goes, it's clear that you're disappointed that there's not more people in the room, but I'm here, so it'd be nice to feel appreciated. I'm like, ooh, ouch. Like I love it that most people, what would they have done? They would have just left and said, what a jerk.
Mhm.
Instead, she just called me a jerk to my face. and I'm so grateful for that because I never made that mistake ever again. If I'm presenting, there's 2 people, I am bringing it. I'm bringing all the energy. I'm bringing every fiber of my being into that because you just don't know. And I'll give you 2 real quick examples. There's in when I first got into network marketing, not my immediate upline, but the person like two above them was one of the top earners, and at the time was making about $40,000 a month, and which is, hey, that's good money, man. And but I heard her story and I was just blown away at it. So her sister was running an event, or was running a home party, and everyone canceled. Everyone canceled. Like she had, I don't know, 10 people coming, 15 people coming, all of them canceled. She called up her sister and said, "You got to get over here. Please, please, please. I got this guy coming and I told him I'd have a packed house and please come, please." And so her sister's like, "All right, I'll come over there." And so she comes over there. Clearly that presenter was smart and treated her like an appreciated person. She joins, becomes one of the top earners in the company, $40,000 a month. There was a lady that wanted to join my team. This few years later. There's a lady that wanted to join my team, and she's like, "Ray, I got to be honest with you. After the real estate crash, I'm broke. Like I can't even afford the sign up. I can't even afford to get in there." And she said, "Will you pay my way?" Now, I don't believe in that. I'm not if you don't got skin in the game, then I'm just not. I just don't do that. That's just not what I do. Because if I pay your way, how are you going to get other people to pay their way? Like I'm not a big fan of that. If you're a fan of it, no offense. But so she goes to a friend of mine and basically convinces her to pay half her way. So she's kind of limping into the company, right? And not coming in a super impressive manner. But day one, she gets me on the phone with a guy. And I could say, I mean, she limped in here. I mean, she gets me on the phone with a guy. And that guy in the next 2 years puts in about 10,000 people. Her first day gets me on with a guy. And I got on the phone and I could just tell 2 seconds. I'm like, ooh, if this guy joins, this is going to be for real. And he did. Just crushed it. Animal. We became close friends. And so you have no idea who's in front of you. And so treat them so special. Treat them like they are the most important person in the room, because they are. And so whether you got 10 people, 1 people, doesn't matter. Treat whoever is there. They're not disappointment. I hated it when I would go to home meetings and someone would be like, "Hey, they'd be outside, looking looking for their people." Everyone is there on time, but 10 minutes later, they're outside. "Oh, sure, they're going to be here any minute." Well, what does that mean? Someone more important than you guys is coming. I better wait. No. You need to make them feel important. I think it was Mary Kay that said, pretend everyone has a make me feel important sign around their neck, and you will get very far in life. And so whoever is in front, whether you expected 100 and you got 6, or whether you expected 10 and got 2, treat them like gold, because you have no idea. Any one person has the potential to really blow up this business, and so treat them well.
Yeah. So awesome. I know we've gone a little bit over, but so appreciate your time. I actually had a couple more, but you know what? It's at this point, this is what I've learned. A lot of this is being a rank maker. And I know that we asked the question at the beginning of the chat, who's a rank maker? And there's so many people, raising their hand 1.5 years, 2 years, 3 years. So one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you to our community is because I really do feel like you can elevate us as an entire community, just in what we've learned so far. The people that are working with you in TEC, you have a lot of inner circle people on the line tonight, you have a lot of rank makers, and there's a lot of people I don't even know are just meeting you for the first time. So what can they do tonight if they wanted to become a rank maker? And share a little bit about that.
Actually, it just so happens, we actually didn't, oh, what's up, Jamie? How are you? We actually didn't make this public because, it's kind of, for marketers, it's a little different in that, I don't know, it's just a little different. But actually, Rank Makers is open tonight. So rankmakers.com. It's $20 a month. And I will share one of the things. This is of if I look at the accomplishments that my wife and I have been able to do over the years, this is by far the one I'm most proud of. In the last 2 years, we've helped our rank makers have enrolled 166,753 new customers, recruited 36,997 new reps, and rank advanced 7,696 times. And so I'm very, very proud of that, in that it's not just, hey, this is great training. It's like actually helping people produce, because we know that the more network marketers produce, the more families are impacted, the more single moms are impacted, the more parents are impacted, the more children, the more communities. And so we're just very, very proud of that. And so if you would like, it's not Rainmakers, Lisa. It's and it's not Rank Acres, Lisa. Lisa, what are you doing?
Hey, we have to give it up for Lisa, though. She managed these lines amazing all night. She's like my girl behind the scenes.
She has done a great job.
You're like the mute, like Nazi here. I'm like, but I can't type apparently. It's rank.
It's rankmakers.com.
Anyway, I would just love to share on top of for sharing this link, though, because when I first decided to join it, what I love about it, and it's literally in our world, I would call it a complete order. Like, it's getting one complete order a month would cover it's $20 a month to get laser coaching every day. And I love how you've kind of are evolving Rank Makers, that it's a 5-minute laser focused action step and training each day, but then you have the whole back office that if you really want to dive deeper into follow-ups, deeper into marketing, deeper into whatever it is, we have that whole resource list. But I love that anyone can do 5 minutes a day. I mean, I take you on my walk today, and each day, so it's very, very easy. But so just want to put that out there.
And $20 a month is no contract. If you don't like it, for whatever reason, you certainly can can cancel that. But I think it'll help. And we have, like you said, we have condensed the daily videos. I do go live in there every single day. I give an action step and a training, and we now have it very condensed. So it's about a 5-minute video, and something that I think most people have time to get through that. And we just love the group. We love our rank makers. We love rolling up our sleeves with them, being in the trenches with them, and feel free to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Ray, we so appreciate you. You can't even say thank you enough. For you to pour into us for almost an hour, literally just because you want to help us, is it's unheard of, and it's phenomenal. So Lisa, in a minute we can unmute the lines. But Team Endurance, you need to stay on. We have our challenge. You're going to be getting some of these amazing books and resources, Freakishly Affecting Social Marketing. These I look at them daily. They're right here on my desk. Headlines, persuasive headlines, and 10 years in the business, and I still look at his social media scripts, because social media is, again, marketing is I'm a prospecting girl. I'm a in-home wellness person girl. So this is a new field that I'm learning, and these are just great tools to stay on, because you're going to get these prizes for free. And Lisa, you have some prizes for your team.
What else can we show? We're like, it's like the ratio here. What else? The lights, the books. I'm like looking around. I'm like, what else?
So for my team, please stay on. And Lisa, if your team wants to stay on too, we'll be just giving tons of prizes out after.
We're going to hop onto my Zoom, and we're going to have a blitz that I heard about, that I learned about. Good. So thank you, Ray.
Yeah. And what I wanted to say too, a quick thank you. I know we have a lot of other NMD leaders on tonight. Thank you for bringing your teams here. I have no